Traders, what's going on? We're doing an update here on Monero, and this is our top-down approach. So for those of you that aren't familiar with what we do, we have a directional model. It's multi-duration, it's fractal. It's all about wave formation, vibration, energy, cycles, and waves. You have to have an understanding of not just price, but you got to understand the time component. That's a cyclical analysis. So when we take a look at Monero, now these are some of our trades that we started doing through Coinigy after a lot of what we were trading before this. Before I knew you could, link up your, I don't know if some of you guys know, you can link up your brokerage account through an API right in through the platform. But you can see we took profit well into the highs, and now we've started to nibble back here. This is where we were buying much lower than these prices before. But you got to time it up. So typically when we look at the crypto market right now, a lot of the altcoins, they do not have enough data for a monthly cycle, right? So there's several ways to view a cycle, but one of the easiest is to use a slow stochastic, which a lot of people use that as overbought and oversold, but that's actually not the best way to use it. It's to think of it as an oscillation or a rhythm of time. Okay, so one of the equations of motions, if you study physics at all, is a oscillation. When you get into complex dynamics and things like that, an oscillation is one of the equations of motion. So an oscillation works well, and we want to try to time that up depending on what time frame you're trading. So someone always asks me, hey, are you bullish on Monero? My first question is, well, what's your time frame? Are we talking about the next 10 minutes, or are we talking about the next 3 to 5 swing trade move, next 3 to 5 day move, or are we talking about 3 to 6 months from now? So those are the kinds of things you got to look at as far as your timing and what you're trying to accomplish with how you're managing your risk. But when we look, so we do a top-down approach. We start from the higher time frames, and then we work our way down and peel back the different layers of time. All right, so I'm just going to walk you through real quick what Monero is looking like now. This is how we do our analysis. So when we look at this is the monthly chart, XMR Monero. This is one of the coins that's been around a little bit longer. It's obviously a coin that has a bigger market cap. It's obviously a name that everyone pretty much is familiar with. So not surprised that there is a monthly cycle developing, and you'll kind of notice that it's been ever since we kind of peaked out here on the month of August. We had a cross the following month here in September. So now we've had 2 back-to-back bearish months. Both of these candles are down, and to me, there's still a lot of room for this cycle to come lower. So, without having to draw a price projection, if you follow just the angle and slope of a line like this, you could cycle down here into the end of the year, no problem. So we'll see. It's everything's relative, but the monthly trend is still up. You have the wave formation bands rising. That's showing you the wave, the positive bullish wave. We're making higher lows, okay, and higher highs. That's all indicative of an uptrend. So we're still long-term bullish. It's just, is it time for Monero to take another run to new highs? Maybe we need to let this, cycle come back into the end of the year. So the monthly level tells me, I'm not surprised that we had a correction, and everybody's in a hurry for Monero to continue on its path higher. But you can kind of see, when we crossed here, between the cross on the monthly level here to the cross here, guys, that was from November to essentially March. All right, so if you want to include March or not, you're essentially looking at 3 months where price went sideways. So that's pretty typical also in an uptrend. When you get a down cycle and price is in an uptrend, you're going to just get a sideways move, and that's kind of what you had. And then, but notice when the monthly cycle turns up, I mean, this whole run was from February to November, right? So there's 9 months there. You had a nice move up. I don't think you're quite ready to go back higher again, but this is obviously a name we like longer term. And that's just the monthly level. Let's go to the weekly. You can see here on the weekly, still very nice bullish technical formation, or what we call technical market structure. So you're still making higher lows. Boom, 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 boom. So from a trend perspective and from a price perspective, the market hasn't done anything wrong. Monero is just doing it's still very strong. You'll see, without stretching out the chart, but you see how there's a nice rhythm here, guys? This is how energy flows. You cannot ignore the time component that goes through the markets, and you can't ignore that this is how everything cycles, right? Life itself is a cycle, how energy travels from the sun via light waves is a longitudinal cycle. You have longitudinal waves, you have transverse waves. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that, but there's a cycle to everything. If you're buying low within the cycle, boom. Okay, low within the cycle, low within the cycle, high within the cycle. Right? This is how you time markets. You got to understand the time component. That's what timing's about. You got to understand the timepiece. It's no longer can you just trade around price. That's an old Wall Street concept. Old Wall Street says you can never pick highs and lows. Well, we picked the low, sold the high, both of those highs. You can absolutely time markets. You just got to know these guys don't have a model and a process. All right, weekly level, again, we crossed here September, and we broke the 8, and then you've been down into the bottom of the bands, which I expect to see. Anytime you break the 8, this red line's 8-period moving average. It's kind of the next signpost or place to look that the market can go to is the bands here. So that's kind of where price is hanging out. You had a nice bounce from the bands back to the 8 on the weekly. And you'll see here in a second, when I go to the daily chart, the 8 and these bands will represent different levels on the daily chart. That's why we call our model a fractal model, so that the self-similar patterns repeat on the smaller time frame, and then they build on top of the higher time frames. So this can continue lower. Maybe we have to finish out October before we have another nice rally on altcoins in general, but specifically Monero here. And obviously we were pretty overbought here, just the distance away from the 30, the angle and distance. But if you want to use an RSI, that had you overbought up here also. So last thing you want to be doing was chasing up into those levels. All right, so we were signaling take profit. We come down to the daily level. This dashed green line represents what we call our pi cycle. And you can see there's multiple times we bounced off that line. This is a concept that I developed, and 314 or pi is the perfect cycle. So I took 3.14 being pi, times it by 100. I wanted a longer moving average. And what's interesting about this line is it's not just about taking the average of the price action and slapping a line on the chart. When you're accounting for 314 units, again, that's a time component there. You're measuring something over X amount of time, well, 314. So you can see that the price action really will tend to cycle away from this average and then come all the way back, away from it, come back to it, away from it, come back to it, away from it, come back to it, away from it, come back to it. And then it's amazing on any, this works on any time frame, but this pie line, I mean, it'll pick the highs and lows all the time. And I'll tell you, in all my 10, 15 years of trading and on the institutional side, I've never seen anybody use a moving average past 200. And a lot of traders make the mistake where they'll be bullish above the 200 and then they'll get bearish below it. That's the last thing you want to do. I mean, people that are flipping and getting short down here, not that a lot of people are shorting these crypto markets, but that happens in Forex markets and treasuries. People do it all the time. That's the last thing you want to do. I mean, the amount of times that this market will hold this average. So a lot of times we buy into our pie line, but we also think of these as areas, right? So anyway, that's the daily. You can notice we're pretty oversold as long as with the rest of the altcoin market coming into this week. So we want to be looking to start to build into the position. I mean, we started nibbling again here after taking profit pretty well, getting a little bit heavier here, getting even heavier now. And here's where I want to try to catch the right-hand side of the cycle, or the right-hand side of the chart, as we call it. So as this is your classical sine curve, you want to be taking profit into the top of the cycle, and you don't want to be getting aggressively long here, all right, or even right here looks like is more about halfway down this cycle. We want to be starting to nibble a little bit on the way back just to maintain a position, but really the place to get aggressive is here. So as we look for a change in intermediate term trend and some higher highs on this side of the chart, this is where we're going to look to start to getting more aggressive on Monero if it can start to turn the corner. All right, if this just makes another lower high and continues to collapse down here, then we'll be glad that we didn't add until we get the turn. It's not always that easy to see, but that's the idea. And so again, we're going to time that up with the intermediate term as well as the monthly cycle and the weekly cycle. All right. And then one second, guys. I just want to make sure. I don't know why that alert came on. My battery's lost. All right, so daily cycle's low. Now this is where, I mean, the daily cycle's been hanging out down here, which sometimes will happen when you get into a really oversold situation. But I do want you to notice, so I'll show you a second here in the intermediate term. You can follow the 8 down here, guys, this red line. The price has not been able to get above that line until what? Yesterday and today. So since here, you're above it, but since then, it's been stuck, trapped underneath the 8. And what that 8 is showing you is it's showing you the intermediate term downtrend. And you still have not been able to make higher highs, except for really the start of today. We're trying to get above these highs. So I guess we made this move up today. I'm not sure if that's a real print. But what I want to see is a close now back above like the 17,000 area. And then, I mean, I like the size of this candle right here. If you'll notice, this is probably the largest candle, right? Right here. Since what? This one? So what does that tell you? These are the footprints of money. Up until today and yesterday, all the control and all the power has been by the bears. All right? The bears are the ones with all the large candles, all these large red candles. All right? You know, the bulls, we call this right here, this candle, a BCI in our model. That's the only effort that the bulls could muster, was that little candle. Boom, it gets taken out. So what we need to see is more candles like this start to pop up. All right. And then that shows you the start of the move, like that. All right. And that's just on the daily chart. So now we can go down a level even more in time. Zoom in a little bit further. And here on the intermediate term, I mean, you can see, look at the wave formation. Right here, all the bands started to fan out and go negative, and the wave has just been down ever since, right? So if you were a day trade and you could actually go short these markets, there's lots of shorting, day trade short opportunities in here. But this is encouraging. Again, I don't know if this is real. I was with my Forex team this morning. We were trading euro pound, so I don't know what that's about, if that's even a real print. But I like the fact that we're finally trying to make higher highs. You know, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. This was our last lower high. We're trying to get above the bands. Just need a little bit more traction, and then this can start to turn bullish again for the intermediate term. And then what we want to do from there is start to time it up with the cycles. So we can start making some higher highs and then making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, like that. Right now, all we have is lower lows. Right here was a lower low relative to here. And then right here, this is interesting, double bottom. I'll draw that in yellow because you failed to make a lower low. That's always the first sign that the market's trying to turn, is when you stop making lower lows when you're in a downtrend. Double bottom. Now you could still bounce, or you could still come here, make a lower high, do this, and then break again to lower lows. That's why you don't know. But that is showing you that the bulls have stopped it from making lower lows. See if they can maybe make another higher low here. And then again, we want to see the higher highs and higher lows, and then this will turn intermediate term bullish again. That's what I'm waiting for. That's the right-hand side of the chart, the right-hand side of the cycle that we're looking for. All right, guys, so I'll keep you updated there. I hope that was pretty in-depth on our top-down. I'll just say, if you guys are interested in learning how we trade like this and what we do in our room every day, JenkinsRM.com is our website. We have a Forex group. We teach traders how to trade any market. I mean, my background is trading treasuries on the institutional side. I ran a rates desk, but we trade a lot of Forex now, futures, options, you know, options on stocks that you want to trade. You can apply the model to any time frame in any market. So obviously we're doing that in the crypto market. We have a cryptocurrency blog. Come down here to services, our crypto coin team. This is our cryptocurrency group. these are the best ways to get involved with us, guys. It's 99 bucks a month for less than the cost of cable, and we're signaling trades all the time in our room. So when we like something long, we want to get out of some of our positions, scaling in, out. You're not going to find a better timing service and chat room and team for that price anywhere on the planet. Not with the true high level trading and professional experience. It just doesn't exist. And then if you want to learn the model, this is for traders that just don't want to be told where to buy and sell. They want to learn the process and the model so they can own it, do it on their own, trade for the rest of their life. I mean, you got to invest in yourself. It's 2,000 bucks. I mean, it's nothing. You know, when you want to learn to go to school, you go in debt, tens of, if not $20,000-$30,000 in debt to learn a degree that you're probably never going to even use. It doesn't even help you get a job when you get out of school. When I wanted to learn to trade Forex, I spent 12 grand, went to a weekend seminar. I only got probably 3 or 4 techniques out of it, but I brought those same techniques into the treasury market. We literally made millions from that. As a desk, customers, I mean, if 2,000 bucks, if you don't think that's worth investing in yourself, I mean, you probably have the wrong image of what you can accomplish. I mean, if you can't invest 2,000 bucks and you don't think that you can make $2,000 in the crypto markets the next 5-10 years, then I don't know. To me, that's just somebody that has a broke mindset. But that's there for those people that want to learn. And then group coaching is obviously working on an individual basis, and that's where we really work on a trading plan, your risks, psychology of trading, much more intimate level. I get to know you as a trader. We work together. I mean, we have traders all over the world, so we all get to know each other, and that's really how you grow. So that's the best 3 ways I know how to do it, guys. Hope that helps, and catch up with everybody a little later.